People who like to make things have always liked to make things. It's sort of innately in us. For as long as I can remember, it's kind of a family joke. I'd play with mud, I'd build sandcastles. I was the one who took wire coat hangers and made shapes out of them before I could really walk. I mean, it's just kind of the way I find I am, and I find a lot of the people I work with are. So the idea of doing a creative field or field where I got to build things and do a lot of tactile work was just sort of something I always knew I'd end up doing.
Clay modeling, one of the most traditional pieces of car design today, has always played an integral role in developing a vehicle. With a keen eye and steady hand, the sculptors are working to transform their inspired designs into clay masterpieces.
Right now, all the sculpting interns have gotten into the middle stages of sculpting our cars. So we've already completed the alias computer math, which has gone to be milled.
Milling is basically a machine takes a math model that you make in a program, alias, and it uses pretty much a drill to make out the shapes that it needs to make in foam and clay.
And when it gets milled out, it's pretty rough, so we have to go back and smooth everything out again.
The first model that I made in alias was completely different from that we have here in the table.
So after your foam is aliased and milled out, you take this clay like this, and a group of people kind of gather around, and you literally pack it onto the foam.
After this, once we get all the proportions all right, and then all the details, and then we smooth it out, the final finish, probably be a couple weeks now. So
some of the tools are used for roughing out the clay, and then some of them are for refinement. And then you get down to the steels in which you can actually make a surface really flat and almost ready for paint.
I'm just kind of pushing the surface back to meet with this surface up here.
I've been doing clay models for about 3 years now in school. Always used to do pottery and sculpting as a child, but it evolved into automobiles because I just didn't know it was available, but once I worked with it, I fell in love with it.
This is my first time doing automotive work in clay.
I definitely like the working in clay. We've done a couple projects in clay. I'm definitely comfortable with it.
This is my first time working with clay, and I am an industrial designer, so I have been working with other materials.
This is actually my first time working with automotive clay, so it's quite an experience, learning experience.
I just couldn't picture myself doing anything else.
The people that are working with me, one is Chris, my mentor, and the other is Lee Chu. She's a sculptor.
We are working with mentors. They are helping us to well, for example, to explain me how to use each tool and how to make it better.
At the end of the experience, it's all about the finished model. You can sketch like crazy, you can show anything you want in paper, but at the end, it's what you're going to show 3D. That's what people understand. That's what everybody gets at the end. Unless you don't have a successful sculptor team and communication with the whole team to put together an exceptional model, the artwork is not going to do anything for you.
There were a few problems with the engineering. We had to move the wheel up about 50 mils because of the constraint during the engineering portion of it. We had to move it up because of the driver's foot would be in the wheel.
It has to look good from the front and from the side and from the top. It's very complex.
But we actually just extended the front end maybe like an hour ago. So we had to move the whole thing because the proportions were a little off from the alias model. But we got it all under control right now. It's we finally got the proportions all set. So.
And a lot of times you end up doing the same thing 30 times until that's just right.
It's a tedious process. You go back and forth. It's never really done until like the last day. So
whenever you're developing a scale model, you never know what's going to happen next. So you don't ever take it for granted, the opportunity to work on a scale model, because you don't know if that's the one that's going to be the other groups around the world to make it to production.
For the next 2 weeks, the sculptors will continue to hand build their clay models. Stay tuned for the next episode as the color and trim design interns take the stage and dazzle us with their vehicle's vibrant interiors.